is that authority lies, right? That's what it does. It's what it's there for, because it's trying to control the perception of the people. And all these experts have their perceptions controlled, and they pass their control of the perception onto the population, who believe them because they're experts. Well, they must know what they're doing. Well, maybe they don't, actually. And so you have this situation where people live their lives in this myopic view of reality, in which they look outside of themselves for being told what to think, whatever. And COVID just brought that into stark reality. You know, there's 8 billion people, apparently, on the planet. They don't count them. And the number of people in full knowledge of what they're doing in terms of this conspiracy within this cult is absolutely tiny compared with that. So how are the few going to control the many? Look back through history and see how it's always been the few that have controlled the many. Why? Because the population in general has given its perceptions away to the few. And often it's just, well, they tell us what to do, so we must do it. And then there's another group that says, I really don't want to do it because I don't believe it, but what are the consequences of me not doing it? And those two groups, the ones that believed authority without question, and this other group that doesn't really believe authority, doesn't want to do what authority says, but fears the consequences of not doing so. Those two groups are responsible for every tyranny in history. Because fascism, communism, and all these other expressions of tyranny, they're not imposed by fascists and communists and tyrants, because there's never enough of them. Tyrannies happen because of the population's acquiescence to tyranny. That's why it happens. And so if you look at COVID, the reason that tyranny could be imposed was because of these two groups. The one that just believed authority without question, and the other group that said, I don't really believe it, I have questions about it, but what are the consequences of me not doing it? How many people were jabbed because the consequences of not being jabbed were they'd lose their job or whatever? And then you've got the third group. And the third group, which we're trying to make bigger and bigger and bigger, is the group that has ended every tyranny in history. And they're the ones that look at authority and what they're being told, and they say, I don't believe you. I've done my research. I know you're lying to me, and I'm not cooperating.